Starting at quarterback, it is Drew Brees, 94.7 on a throw-for-throw basis, just edges out Patrick Mahomes, despite having a little bit lower volume than Mahomes, who's probably going to win the MVP. But Brees had the lowest percentage of negatively graded throws in the league. He finished number 1 in adjusted completion percentage and accuracy percentage. That's our proprietary stat, accuracy percentage, where we show actual ball location and say, did you hit the guy on the numbers? Yes, you did. That's accurate. Brees was over 70%, the only quarterback in the league at that level. At running back, it's Nick Chubb, the rookie from the Cleveland Browns, an 87.5 overall grade. He didn't have the volume of some of the other running backs, but on a play-for-play basis, he led the league with 4.47 yards after contact per rush. That led to the number 1 overall rushing grade at 90.2. And despite having only 192 carries, he finished 4th in the league with 44 missed tackles on the ground. That all led to a number 1 ranking in elusive rating. That's our way of saying, did you force missed tackles? Did you create yards after contact? Yes, you did. Nick Chubb, number 1 at 103.3. At wide receiver, it's DeAndre Hopkins of the Houston Texans. His 92.5 grade ties the best overall grade we've given a receiver since 2006, and he did it because he was the most efficient receiver in the league. 115 catches and no drops. That is the best we've ever seen from a receiver. The most catches without a drop with 115. He also converted 81 first downs or touchdowns, which led the NFL, and quarterbacks had a passer rating of 118.8 when targeting Hopkins this season. At tight end, it's George Kittle of the San Francisco 49ers with an 89.8 grade. He had the most receiving yards by a tight end in history, also the most yards after the catch in PFF history with 873. That was 299 more than fellow tight end Travis Kelce this year. And don't forget, Kittle is also an excellent run blocker. He finished number 5 in the league with a 73.3 run blocking grade, an excellent overall season for Kittle. At offensive tackle, it is David Bakhtiari of the Green Bay Packers with his 88.3 grade, all due to his pass blocking grade, a 93.6, which by far led the NFL. He only allowed 25 pressures on 737 attempts, but even out of those 25 pressures, only a handful of really quick, decisive losses. Bakhtiari is the premier pass blocking offensive tackle in the NFL these days now that Joe Thomas has retired, and he's also a solid run blocker. At guard, it was Shaq Mason of the New England Patriots with an 82.1 overall grade. He does his best work as a run blocker. He had the top grade among all guards at 77.8, and he continues to improve as a pass blocker. He allowed only 16 pressures on 526 attempts. At center, it's Jason Kelce of the Philadelphia Eagles at 84.9. He was excellent as a pass blocker, ranking number 2 at 87.7, but also had the top run blocking grade at 82.9. Kelce is incredible in space. He moves like a linebacker. He only allowed 10 pressures on 657 attempts this season, including no sacks. The top-graded edge defender this year was Calais Campbell of the Jacksonville Jaguars at 91.1, while other guys had better seasons as pass rushers, whether it was J.J. Watt, Khalil Mack, D. Ford. Calais was a stud against the run, where he graded at 92.8. That was 2 points higher than the next closest edge defender, Jadeveon Clowney. Campbell finished with 56 defensive stops. That's 7 more than the next closest edge. And he was also solid as a pass rusher as well. He had 53 total pressures. That's 11 sacks, 11 QB hits, and 31 hurries. On the defensive interior, no surprise here, Aaron Donald in his 95.5 overall grade. That's the best we've ever given a defensive lineman. He was the second player since 2006 to record more than 100 pressures. He had 106 on the season. That led the NFL by far. He had 21 sacks, 20 QB hits, and 65 hurries by PFF's numbers. And as disruptive as he is as a pass rusher, Donald is still excellent in the run game. He had the number 2 overall grade against the run at 93, and he had 51 total stops. That's 7 more than the next closest interior defensive lineman. At linebacker, it's Bobby Wagner of the Seattle Seahawks with a 91.9 overall grade. He was on his way to a perfect season, but he finally missed his first tackle of the year in Week 17. Still incredible. Only 1 miss the entire year on 138 tackle attempts. Wagner finished number 1 in PFF's coverage grading at 90.4, and he had the number 2 run defense grade at 91.8. Got his hands on the ball 7 times to break up passes. He had an interception, and he did not allow any touchdowns in coverage. At cornerback, it was Stephon Gilmore of the New England Patriots and a 90.7 overall grade. He had 18 pass breakups. That's 5 more than the next closest cornerback. and opposing quarterbacks completed only 46.7% of their passes into Gilmore's coverage. That was second best in the NFL. And at safety, it's Eddie Jackson of the Chicago Bears, a 93.2 overall grade, but it was his 94.7 coverage grade that by far ranked #1 among all safeties, because he was around the ball the entire year. 6 interceptions, ranked second, and 8 pass breakups, ranked first among all safeties. Eddie Jackson, the #1 playmaking safety in the NFL this season.